Live from our studio in Sydney, Cape Breton, it's now time for the Cape Breton Live Rant Room Show with Murray Johnston.
So if you'd like to talk about bullying in the school system, I know it's an ongoing topic. It's been talked about for a number of years now. The Rehtaeh Parsons case in Halifax was certainly one of the high-profile cases that got national, even international attention last year, and even this past week for that matter, when her mother indicated that the Halifax School Board would not allow her to speak to students in the Halifax area, to the schools there, believe it or not, and yet she's been asked to go and talk to students across the country in schools in Ontario and out west in Montreal, and yet is not allowed to speak to students here in Halifax where the incident occurred. Would be great to know what the rationale there is, what the motivation is for not giving permission to Rehtaeh's mother to speak to local students about the problems involved in bullying and about sexual harassment and the dangers of the internet. So perhaps we'll get more on that topic. And if you have a feeling on it, why not give us a call? Well,
good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning. Not too bad on yourself.
Good. Yeah, I called a couple of weeks ago there, buddy. I'm the former coal miner from Glace Bay there, buddy, and I was watching that video you had there about the fluoride in the water, you know.
Right.
Is there any of that fluoride in Glace Bay water?
Yes, the CBRM water supply uses fluoride. The only area in the municipality that does not is the community of the town of Lewisburg.
Well, when did they start putting fluoride in the water?
I'm not sure of the exact startup date. It's been being done now for quite some time. I'd have to do a little research and find out when it was started, but it's been there for quite a while. It's brought into the Cape Breton area, and it's paid for by the council, by the taxpayer, and then diluted. It's actually a toxic product if you look at it carefully.
Yeah, well, my daughter told me all about that, eh? You know, and
she did?
I don't want to drink fluoride, buddy.
Well, if you don't, you notify your local councillor about the matter and ask for it to be raised as part of the agenda at the council level, and ask them to bring in experts who are knowledgeable in the field and those who oppose the use of fluoride, and get a debate going, and maybe they'll research the topic and have another look at it.
Well, wasn't I supposed to get a letter in the mail or something like that telling me that I got fluoride in my water? Like,
well, that's a very...
Don't they send those notifications or something like that?
That's a valid question. I don't know. I'm sure it was covered in the newspaper at the time, in the media. I'm not sure whether that particular method was used to inform constituents in all parts of the municipality.
Yeah, but
one would hope so.
That comes under the Department of Health, right? Doesn't that
it does.
Under... So they're telling me they tell the municipality to put fluoride in my water. So that's what they do, is it?
That's correct. They've given the mandate to the municipality, from what we were told during an interview last week by people who work at the water facility, that the Department of Health has mandated the use of fluoride. But on the other hand, we were told by Marlene Kane, who is a strong opponent, not proponent, but opponent of the use of fluoride, that the Department of Health has not given permission for that to happen. So there are two conflicting points of view on that.
So you're saying that the Department of Health did not give the go-ahead to put fluoride in my drinking water?
Well, I'm told that by one side that indeed they did not, and told by the other side that they did. So we'd have to do some research and investigation to determine where the truth lies on that one.
Well, I got my daughter to go online and research that. Hey, you know what? Maybe that's why I'm getting friggin' rashes on me. You know that? From the water.
Well,
I shower every day. I'm a clean guy, you know what I mean? And I noticed that I'm getting rashes all the time. And maybe that's what it is. I got the wife to change the laundry detergent about 20 times, and nothing seems to be helping here. And I got no skin disease. diseases. I went to the doctor. He doesn't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it's worthy of some investigation. Doctors certainly would be able to pinpoint what the cause of the rash might be.
What gets me is this. Now, I pay my water bill. The Department of Health doesn't pay my water bill. Neither does the Cape Breton Regional Municipality, right? So
Right.
don't I have a right to pay for something that I want in my water? If I don't want fluoride in my water, why the hell should I be paying for that then? You know,
Well, once again,
and
once
who are
again,
they
it
to
goes.
tell me? Who are they to tell me what's good for me? Well, we know
Well,
that
that's-
smoking. We know that smoking's bad. I know that. I'm trying to quit myself. You know what I mean? But Jesus, to put something in my water, right? And they're going to tell me that it's good for me. Yet, what my daughter is telling me here that the research is saying, hey, this is a toxic product here. This comes from aluminum, right?
That's right.
And they're putting that in my drinking water along with the other chlorine stuff, right?
Well, it's diluted, of course, by the time it gets here, and they tell us that there's no health, there's no reason to be fearful of it. But once again, I think it's a topic worthy of debate, and it should be brought before the public again, so there could be more awareness of the issue on both sides of the matter, and then a decision could be made whereby people feel that they would have had their say on the matter.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll be contacting my MLA about this one, and
Well, that's not a bad idea.
I don't think it's fair to not let the people know that you're drinking fluoride. I didn't know I was drinking that there, buddy. You know what? And since my daughter told me that, and I read up about it too, I've been going to Walmart and buying spring water. I'm serious.
Well, many people do. There's no question about that. They use the water, but there are others who swear by the local regional water supply. And I'm sure they take great pains to make sure that it's safe and healthy for people to use. But once
I'm
again,
sure
with
that the
fluoride,
Minister of Health, who is the Minister of Health here in Nova Scotia anyway?
I'm
You
not
know?
sure. I'm not quite sure of the name. It's something we're going to have to check.
Now, I can imagine now if I was working at a service station and she pulled up in her car or truck or whatever she's driving, and I took a bottle of Coke and I dumped it in her gas tank, and I said, well, hey, this is good for your engine. Well, you know, how would you feel about that, eh?
Well, that's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
good analogy.
Well, anyway,
It
I
really
just
is.
wanted to get that off my chest there, buddy, and you keep up the good work. And I really like this rant show. It's got some interesting topics here, especially that school thing. Now, I don't want to get into that too much before I go, but something that was on my mind was about this bullying stuff, right? There's a lot of it going on. And, you know, whose fault is it? You know, someone said to me that the society has changed, right? But the educational system hasn't. And they're in the dark ages here in Nova Scotia, if you ask me. That's only my opinion here now. I mean, there's stuff going on in schools now, holy dear Jesus. It's terrible. You know, and teachers aren't trained.
Wow.
Teachers aren't trained to be bouncers, right?
Right, that's
They're
true.
not trained to be psychiatrists or doctors or lawyers, right? They're trained
That's
to
correct.
teach, right?
That's right.
And, you know, okay, now my daughter, now she was in school, right? And she was taking algebra.
Right.
She told me, I don't have any use for algebra. It's not what I want to do. I'm not interested. So why does she have to take algebra? Huh? Kids
Well,
today
it's-
don't. If you ask any kid on the street today about pi square or whatever it's called, right? They're going to pull out a calculator. Well, why do you need algebra if you got a calculator in your pocket? Huh?
Well,
If you need algebra and you're going to be a scientist, well then yeah, I can understand that, right? But if
Right.
you're not going to be a scientist, what do you need algebra for?
well, I suppose some people feel that it helps in critical thinking, that somewhere down the road they might need
Critical
elementary
thinking.
math.
Jesus, they get critical thinking when they're on the street. But the kids today know more on the street. They learn more. There's more education on the street now than there is in school,
Well,
right?
there's I'll tell you one thing that I agree with you on. Our school system needs overhauling. It needs an investigation in terms of whether there are subjects on the curriculum that ought to be deleted. Are there other subjects that are more practical, more pragmatic, that kids could be using today? It's a different world in which we're living. And are we really preparing our kids to go out into the system to market themselves properly with the proper credentials and background? You're raising a good point there.
Yeah. Well, okay. Listen, I just want to say thanks for letting me share my mind here today, and you keep up the good work, and thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for calling. But people are available at that time. So we're pondering whether we should move the show to Sunday night at 7 o'clock. And we'd like to have your point of view on that. Do you think that would be a better time rather than Saturday at high noon until 1? Maybe it would be. Call us and let us know what you think about that. Is that an alternative that would be more acceptable to the general public? Would it garner more response from callers? We would hope so, and we're seriously thinking about going in that direction. And if we do, we'll notify you on Facebook and YouTube as well, and hope to get some reaction from you there as well.